In the realm of relationships, attraction thrives when it is allowed to grow naturally, not forced. As the renowned author Antoine de Saint-Exupéry once said, "Love does not consist in gazing at each other, but in looking outward together in the same direction." To capture a woman's attention, the secret lies in learning how to pursue without chasing, how to evoke genuine interest without overwhelming her. Chasing can often come off as desperate, whereas subtle, confident pursuit sparks curiosity and desire. It's about becoming the kind of man she chooses to gravitate toward, not because you've chased her, but because you've drawn her in with your presence, values, and actions. In this guide, we will explore 6 powerful ways to pursue without chasing, showing you how to build attraction while maintaining your dignity. If you want to master the art of becoming desirable, continue reading to discover how small, deliberate moves can leave a lasting impression, making her want more of what you offer. Number 1. Why does it feel like people lose interest so quickly, especially when dating? In today's fast-paced world, dating has evolved into a sea of endless possibilities, especially for women. With dating apps and direct messages flooding Instagram, it's like everyone's constantly bombarded with choices. But here's the thing. This abundance of options often leads to a strange sense of being disposable. If there isn't an immediate spark, interest fades, and people move on in search of the next best thing. So how do you stand out? How do you create a real connection amidst this ocean of fleeting interactions? First, let's acknowledge something fundamental. The dating landscape has shifted. Dating apps, while convenient, can often feel like a never-ending catalog where people are swiped away like items on a shelf. You swipe, you match, you chat, and sometimes nothing happens. It's easy to feel like just another face in the crowd, right? But the key lies in how you handle this reality. So how can you rise above the noise? One of the biggest traps people fall into with so many options at their fingertips is the constant search for something better. This person's great, but what if there's someone even better out there? It's a thought that lingers in the back of many minds, and it keeps them from committing. This mindset creates a barrier to forming genuine connections because people are always looking beyond what they have. But here's a little secret. It's not about finding the best match. It's about creating a connection that's real, deep, and lasting. The grass isn't always greener. Sometimes it's just a different shade. When you're chatting with someone on a dating app, one of the smartest moves you can make is to transition the conversation out of the app and into a more personal space as quickly as possible. Why? Because on the app, you're just another message in a long line of messages. But by asking for their number or suggesting a meetup, you shift the dynamic. You're no longer just a profile. You become a real person with real potential. That's powerful. It's about being fully present, giving them a reason to invest in you, not just your online avatar. And let me tell you, one of the most common mistakes guys make is focusing too much on themselves, trying so hard to be attractive that they forget the importance of acknowledging the other person. It's essential to balance showing interest and not coming off as overly eager. You want to leave a lasting impression, not an air of desperation. Instead of showering them with generic compliments, try offering genuine insights about who they are. Compliments are nice, but they have to feel earned. People appreciate depth, not just flattery. Think about it. How often have you been complimented on your looks versus how often someone genuinely tried to understand who you are? There's a world of difference. Now, instead of molding yourself into what you think they want, focus on who you are. Let them reveal their story. Ask them, what's your story? What are you passionate about? Sharing these details helps build a connection grounded in something real, something beyond surface-level attraction. In that space, where you listen and truly understand, you create emotional depth. And when you tap into that level of understanding, that's where real connection happens. It's magic. As a man, being proactive is essential, but so is knowing whether your approach makes someone feel safe or overwhelmed. Why do they not run away? Because you understand how to make them feel secure. It all comes back to sincerity. Your intentions must be genuine and clear. When a woman feels safe, she's far more likely to invest emotionally. So, if your presence creates that emotional safety net, she will be drawn to you in ways you might not even imagine. The second key to connection: sparking curiosity, leaving them wanting more. This isn't about playing games. It's about kindling a desire to know more about you. You set the stage for anticipation and excitement by leaving some things unsaid, allowing her curiosity to fill in the gaps. As Dale Carnegie once said, you can make more friends in 2 months by becoming genuinely interested in other people than you can in 2 years by trying to get other people interested in you. How do you apply this to dating? Be genuinely curious about their world, their passions, ask the right questions. Create emotional safety while leaving just enough mystery for them to crave more. When done right, you open the door to a connection that feels authentic and deep, where both of you feel seen and valued. But why do so many people lose interest so quickly, especially in dating? Is it because the connection lacks depth? Are interactions more about impressing than genuinely connecting? Think about it. How often do conversations revolve around impressing someone rather than creating a meaningful bond? When you focus on cultivating emotional depth, you'll see just how much more fulfilling the experience can be. So, what's your next move to create that lasting connection? It's simple. Be present, be curious, and create an environment where they feel safe to open up. Ask yourself, are you really listening to understand, or just waiting for your turn to speak? In a world filled with distractions and superficial encounters, your genuine interest and presence can make all the difference. When you start engaging at that level, you'll discover the beauty of real connection, and that's where the magic truly begins. Number 2, find the reason in a lasting relationship. In every relationship, there are highs and lows. It's never all sunshine and rainbows. The true test of a relationship comes when you continuously choose that person, even when things get tough. This is when real growth and success happen. One of the key aspects of dating is moving beyond superficial conversations. Sure, you'll touch on the basics, but digging deeper and really getting to know someone on a personal level is essential. It's about creating a bond that stands the test of time. Sometimes becoming a little vulnerable can be uncomfortable, but when you connect on a deeper level, it strengthens the relationship. Think about it. A solid relationship needs fuel to keep the initial spark alive. If you're not feeding that flame, it will fade. But how do you do this? A relationship requires effort from both sides. It's like a joint investment. No one wants to invest only to see a loss. When both parties are involved and there's mutual respect and understanding, a relationship thrives. Now, let's put it in simple terms. Just because you find her attractive and she's showering you with attention doesn't mean you can relax. There's no easy street here. If you constantly cater to her every need, always agreeing and never standing your ground, you'll lose your sense of self. Take this example. Imagine she says, "The tiger is the strongest animal in the wild," and you respond with, "I agree," even though deep down you think the elephant is the true king. You've just silenced your own voice in an attempt to avoid disagreement. If you keep this up, constantly agreeing just to maintain peace, you'll become predictable. At first, it may seem like it's keeping things smooth, but eventually she'll see through it. She'll realize you don't challenge her, and with that realization, her respect for you will wane. You'll fall into what's known as the nice guy trap. This is when your desire to avoid conflict makes you appear weak, boring, and eventually invisible. Here's the kicker. Relationships need emotional range. If you always take the passive approach, you're giving her the control, and you're losing your voice in the process. So, what should you do if you find yourself in this situation? Don't be afraid to voice your opinion. Let's go back to that tiger-elephant example. A stronger response would be something like, "Actually, I think elephants are the real kings of the jungle. They've got strength, wisdom, and patience, which are the traits of true rulers. This isn't about winning the argument, it's about standing your ground. Women are naturally drawn to men who embrace challenges and face them head-on with calm confidence. It's not about proving that you're right, but rather showing that you have your own mind and you're not afraid to speak up. Confidence, my friend, is magnetic. But let's not stop there. Another mistake men often make is oversharing. You might think that revealing everything about yourself up front shows trust, but it actually robs the other person of the thrill of discovery. Mystery is a powerful tool in relationships. As the philosopher Blaise Pascal once said, people are better persuaded by the reasons they themselves discover than by those given to them by others. Let her be curious about you. Let her uncover who you are gradually. This keeps her invested and intrigued. Now, you might be asking yourself, how do I balance openness with maintaining an air of mystery? It's all about pacing. Share, but don't spill everything at once. Let her earn the right to learn more about you. When there's a sense of anticipation about what comes next, she'll be more engaged. Think about your last few interactions. Have you been too open? Are you leaving room for curiosity? Psychologist Dr. Arthur Aaron's research showed that deep conversations lead to stronger emotional bonds. His famous 36 questions experiment revealed that meaningful, progressively deeper questions bring people closer. But here's the secret. It's not about answering all those questions in one sitting. The magic lies in gradual revelation. Consider your relationship like a novel. A good book doesn't reveal the ending on the first page. It pulls you in chapter by chapter, keeping you hooked. The best stories give you just enough to keep you coming back, eager to turn the next page. Your relationship should work the same way. To maintain this dynamic, you must set boundaries and stay true to your values. A healthy relationship isn't about constantly agreeing or giving in. It's about mutual respect. If you're always too agreeable, you risk losing your sense of self and your influence in the relationship. The ancient Stoics understood the importance of balance. As Marcus Aurelius once said, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." In relationships, this means being clear about who you are, what you believe, and standing by those beliefs. A relationship isn't about blending into the background. It's about two strong individuals coming together and growing through their differences. A relationship will thrive when both parties contribute to each other's emotional and intellectual growth. Stand firm in your beliefs, let some mystery remain, and foster meaningful conversations that create deeper connections. Remember, it's not about always agreeing, it's about being authentic, inviting the other person into your world, piece by piece. The strongest bonds are built on trust, respect, and the excitement of discovery. Let me leave you with this. Think of your relationship as a dance. You're not just following her lead, nor is she following yours. Instead, you're moving together in sync, sometimes stepping forward, sometimes stepping back, but always in harmony. That's what keeps the fire alive. The balance of power, the mystery, the growth. Number 3, how to pursue without chasing. Pursuing a woman without actually pursuing her is an art form, a balance of self-respect and emotional intelligence. Desperation in pursuit happens when you lose yourself trying to make someone like you, especially when the feelings aren't mutual. True connection, on the other hand, is a two-way street, where both people invest time, energy, and emotion, making it clear that they care and are moving forward together. So, how do you show interest without falling into the trap of chasing? First, be upfront about your intentions. If you're interested in her, don't hesitate to express it. But if she doesn't respond, the best move is to gracefully step back. This doesn't mean giving up at the first sign of disinterest, but it does mean knowing when to stop pushing. If she's not showing interest, don't force it. That's when the line between healthy interest and pursuit becomes clear. A relationship built on unequal interest will only lead to frustration. If she's not reciprocating the energy, it's time to let go. One of the biggest mistakes in chasing is thinking that grand gestures and constant attention will eventually change her mind. Even if that approach works, ask yourself, do you really want to be with someone who only comes around after being convinced? Genuine attraction is never forced. If you believe you need to chase someone to be worthy of love, you're undervaluing yourself. Constant availability and attention can unintentionally devalue you. Attraction often grows in space, not in suffocating presence. So what's the solution? Instead of chasing, focus on building a relationship rooted in mutual respect and attraction. Be confident enough to express your feelings, but secure enough to walk away if she doesn't feel the same. A healthy relationship is built on reciprocity, not one-sided effort. A real connection should feel like a natural flow, not a tug of war. Remember, no relationship is worth losing yourself over. Some people get caught up in the chase because they think the more they invest in something, the harder it is to walk away. If you've ever been in that situation, holding on to a relationship for too long just because you thought, I've invested so much time and energy, I can't let go anymore. But in the end, letting go was the best decision for both of us. Knowing when to walk away is a skill, and it's a skill that builds character. As Marcus Aurelius said, the obstacle is the way. Sometimes the barrier you're facing, like unrequited interest, is a sign it's time to take action in a different direction. By stepping back, you're making room for someone who will naturally appreciate your efforts and attention. One key thing women value in a man is his ability to lead. It's attractive when a man shows interest, but doesn't lose himself in the process. And sometimes the team has to sacrifice their confidence for her to take the initiative. This is a balancing force, maybe a spontaneous outing where she takes the initiative to have fun. So next time you find yourself interested in someone, remember this. Be clear about your intentions, but know when to step back. Create space for natural attraction to grow and never forget your own worth. True connection isn't something you have to chase. It's something that happens when both people are ready for it. What keeps you from showing interest without giving up your power? How do you know when it's time to step back? If you approach relationships with respect for both yourself and the other person, you'll never have to chase. You'll only pursue what is meant for you. Number 4, be yourself. The invisible thread that creates real connections. Isn't it astonishing how being unapologetically yourself can be the most magnetic thing about you? When you let go of the pressure to impress and simply embrace your authentic self, something remarkable happens. You create a force, almost invisible, that pulls people toward you without even trying. It's like a natural gravitation that sparks deeper, more genuine connections. Ever wonder why we often hide behind what we think people want us to be? We conform, blend in, thinking that if we follow the script, we'll be liked. But what does that actually give us? Surface-level interactions where no one is truly seen or appreciated for who they are. Now picture this. The moment you step out of that mold and let your true self shine, quirks, passions, imperfections and all, something extraordinary begins. That's where real attraction comes alive. The secret? Your quirks, the very things you might think are too odd or too different, are the very things that make you irresistible. It's not perfection that draws people in, but the authenticity in being confidently you. Think about it. Have you ever noticed how the most captivating people are the ones who aren't afraid to be a little different? It's the ones who talk passionately about their unusual interests, who aren't scared to let their personality burst through, who make the strongest impressions. It's those unexpected little details, the things that make you wonderfully, uniquely you, that end up being the golden threads in the fabric of real connection. Imagine you're on a date, and you casually mention something you're passionate about, like your love for collecting vintage cameras or your obsession with some obscure indie film. For a split second, you wonder, is this too out there? Will they think I'm weird? But then, your date lights up, sharing a similar interest, and suddenly, this small detail becomes the spark that ignites a meaningful conversation. That's the beauty of authenticity. When you stop hiding and start sharing, you attract people who appreciate those little real parts of you. And here's the kicker: living authentically has nothing to do with trying to impress. It's about being comfortable in your own skin with no masks, no facades. When you stop worrying about how others might perceive you, something incredible happens. You become magnetic, naturally. People are drawn to you because you radiate a kind of energy that can't be faked. It's the energy of someone who knows who they are and isn't afraid to show it. So here's a thought. Will you keep hiding behind the mask of what you think people want to see? Or will you step into the full power of your uniqueness? There's no strength in pretending to be someone else, but there's an endless well of power in being exactly who you are. It's like the difference between wearing a dull, ordinary suit that makes you blend in and wearing something bold, vibrant, and entirely you. Which version do you think turns heads? Which version makes you unforgettable? Let's get real. The world doesn't need more carbon copies. It needs more people who dare to be their true selves. The more you embrace your unique qualities, the more effortlessly you'll connect with those who genuinely admire and appreciate you. It's about showing up fully, quirks and all, and saying, "This is me and I'm not here to fit into anyone's box." It's time to ask yourself, what's more appealing? The curated version of you that feels safe but uninspired, or the unapologetic, vibrant version that brings light to every room you walk into? The choice is yours, but know this: the real magic happens when you stop trying to be who you think you should be and start being who you are. When you do that, you won't have to chase anyone. People will chase you, drawn by the authenticity that can't be replicated. That's the invisible thread, the power of being yourself. It's the difference between superficial attraction and deep, lasting connection. It's what makes people remember you, not for how perfectly you fit into a mold, but for how boldly you stood out. So why settle for anything less than being authentically, wonderfully you? You owe it to yourself to live boldly, to love fully, and to connect deeply, because that's where the real magic happens. Number 5, create a sense of challenge. Make her chase without having to chase. Have you ever wondered how some people seem to naturally make others chase after them without even trying? It's like they've cracked the code, effortlessly drawing in attention while maintaining their mystery. There's something about their energy, their confidence, that makes people lean in closer, wanting to know more. But here's the thing: they don't do it by running after anyone. Instead, they create a sense of challenge, an irresistible magnetic pull that keeps others intrigued. 1. Challenge her without chasing. When you think about it, people are naturally drawn to a challenge. It's in our nature to want to uncover what's hidden, to understand the unknown. And that's the secret. When you create a subtle sense of challenge, it invites the other person to invest more in the interaction. But how do you create that dynamic without coming off as distant or playing mind games? Well, the key is balance, and yes, this delicate balance is what makes all the difference. It's like holding a treasure just within reach, but making it so they have to take a step to claim it. Picture this: you're in a conversation with someone, and rather than just agreeing with everything they say, you playfully challenge them. Let's say she tells you she loves thrillers. You don't just nod along. Instead, with a spark in your eye, you tease her. "Thrillers, huh? I'm not sure you could handle the plot twists in the best ones. Too intense for you, maybe." You see, you've just added a layer of intrigue. You didn't belittle her, quite the opposite. You've created a playful space for her to engage more, to prove herself. And here's where the magic happens. She's now intrigued, more invested in the conversation, and more curious about you. 2. Why does this work? It's simple psychology. People tend to value what they've had to work for. Studies on human behavior show that we place higher value on things or people that challenge us, that aren't easily attainable. When someone has to earn your attention, they feel like they've achieved something, and that makes you more desirable. You're no longer just another person. You're a puzzle worth solving. But, and this is crucial, you have to do it in a way that feels genuine and not manipulative. Think of it like this. You're not creating a barrier. You're creating an opportunity. You're presenting yourself as someone worth getting to know, but you're not throwing yourself into their lap. Keeping the challenge alive. Now, here's where things get interesting. How do you maintain this challenge without it feeling forced? One of the most effective ways is by not being too available. Notice, I didn't say you should play hard to get, but rather, don't be at someone's beck and call. You've got a full life, your hobbies, your goals, your passions. You're not just waiting for someone to text you back or make plans. When people see that you're living a fulfilling life, they're naturally drawn to you. As Maya Angelou once said, a woman's heart should be so hidden in God that a man has to seek him just to find her. And this applies to everyone, really. When someone has to put in a little effort to get closer to you, they'll appreciate you more. But it's not just about being unavailable. It's about being deeply present when you are around. Engage in meaningful conversations, ask thought-provoking questions, and show genuine interest in what she's passionate about. Let's say she talks about a recent trip she took. Instead of the usual, "How was it?" go deeper. Ask her what it taught her, how it changed her perspective, or what she loved most about that place. Intellectual and emotional challenges go hand in hand. By digging deeper, you create a connection that feels real and valuable. 3. Add a dash of humor. Humor. It's like the secret spice in any conversation. Humor keeps things light and fun, creating playful tension. For example, if she tells you she loves hiking, you could smile and say, "I bet I could out-hike you, but I wouldn't want to embarrass you." It's playful, it's light, and it shows that you're not taking yourself or the conversation too seriously. Humor keeps people coming back for more because it's fun, and it creates an environment where both of you can feel at ease. 4. The Stoic approach. Confidence over chase. You don't need to chase someone to prove you're worthy of their attention. This is where the Stoic principles come in. As the Stoics teach us, we should control our desires and not be overly attached to external validation. Epictetus once said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This applies here too. You're not reacting to someone's interest by chasing after them. Instead, you remain calm, centered, and confident in your worth. When you know who you are, and you don't need to constantly prove it to anyone, you become the kind of person others are drawn to. So, how do you keep someone's curiosity alive? Is it about balancing your availability? Or maybe it's about engaging in deeper intellectual conversations? Honestly, it's a combination of both. The balance lies in showing enough of yourself to spark interest, but not so much that you leave nothing to be discovered. After all, mystery, when combined with genuine connection, is irresistible. Now, take a moment and ask yourself, how do you usually engage with someone you're interested in? Do you find yourself chasing too much? What if, instead of running after them, you let them come to you? When you understand your worth and maintain a healthy sense of self-respect, you'll notice a shift. People won't be able to help but want to get closer, not because you're chasing them, but because you're creating a space where they feel both challenged and intrigued. Number 6, how to show you care without losing yourself. In any relationship, there's a fine balance between showing interest and over-investing your time and energy. When you dive in too fast, you risk overwhelming the other person, possibly pushing them away instead of drawing them closer. The key is learning when to lean in and when to step back, allowing things to unfold naturally. How can you strike this balance? Think about it. Genuine interest doesn't mean giving up your life for someone else. It means being engaged but maintaining your own identity, passions, and routines. Let's say you're tempted to drop everything when they call. What if instead of canceling plans with your friends or skipping out on something important to you, you take a moment to prioritize yourself? Why is it important to keep your own life while you show interest in someone else? It's simple. When you keep your life going, you're showing that while you care about them, you don't depend on them for happiness, and that's attractive. Shows that maintaining a sense of independence and self-esteem not only strengthens relationships, but also promotes long-term success. When you are confident and whole, it reflects stability and confidence, two qualities that make others more attracted to you. A real-life scenario. Imagine you've been dating someone for a few weeks, and they ask you to hang out at the last minute. You've already made plans with friends. Do you cancel? Instead, stick to your original plan. You can let them know that you're looking forward to seeing them soon, but not tonight. This simple action shows them that you're interested, but you're not dropping your life to fit into theirs. Doesn't that set a healthier tone for a lasting connection? As Seneca, the revered Stoic philosopher, once said, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." This quote rings true in relationships as well. If you're constantly focused on whether you're giving too much or too little, you're likely missing out on the moment. Focus instead on being present, enjoying the journey, and keeping your own needs in check. How to keep the balance? Stay engaged, but don't overcompensate. Be present, listen, and show genuine interest, but don't try to force the relationship to progress faster than it's meant to. Maintain your priorities. Keep your hobbies, your friends, and your personal goals at the forefront. You'll find that when you invest in yourself, you actually have more to offer others. Set healthy boundaries. Be clear about your needs and respect theirs as well. This mutual understanding creates trust and reduces the chance of anyone feeling overwhelmed or neglected. Why is this important? In a relationship, giving up your autonomy too quickly can lead to emotional exhaustion and dependence. This can stifle the excitement and spontaneity that make new relationships thrive. Conversely, maintaining your own individuality sparks curiosity and keeps the relationship dynamic. It's about showing that you're not just interested in them. You're interested in life, and that makes you infinitely more intriguing. In a culture that often praises going all in too fast, stepping back and letting things unfold naturally is actually the smarter move. So next time you feel the urge to invest everything too soon, ask yourself, would this action support my long-term happiness and well-being? If not, maybe it's time to shift focus. Inspiring. Quote, as the Buddha said, "You, yourself, as much as anybody in the entire universe, deserve your love and affection." This reminds us that in any relationship, your own self-worth is just as important as the connection you're trying to build. By investing in yourself and pacing your emotional investment, you're more likely to create a relationship that's not only balanced, but also long-lasting. In the art of attraction, it's all about balance. To pursue without chasing means mastering the ability to remain confident, self-assured, and magnetic without being overly eager. When you show genuine interest while keeping your independence and passions intact, she will naturally be drawn to your unique energy. It's not about constantly trying to win her attention, but about letting your actions, character, and authenticity speak for themselves. You're showcasing the man you are and letting her choose to come closer. Remember, it's not about chasing her approval or validation, but about being someone who knows his worth and invites her into that space of certainty. She will notice your confidence and self-respect, making you undeniably desirable. Thank you for watching this video on how to pursue without chasing. If you found this helpful, show your support by hitting the like button. Don't forget to subscribe to the Stoic Goddess for more empowering content. Share your thoughts in the comments below and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on future videos. We appreciate your time, and we'll see you in the next one.